Hi everyone, it's Megan and I'm back with a new video. As you can tell, I have changed the background. I'm now officially at home again, so I'm not going to use my fiance's house background anymore. But I now have a new office in my house, which is literally just the spare room that's been converted a little bit. So this is my new office and this is the place I will use for videos. As you can tell, I have some nice book swag on the wall, and I don't know whether you can see it on the shot, but this is a nice Beauty and the Beast cross stitch by my friend. So this is where my videos will take place, and this video is a very late video, and it's a book haul finally, but it might be May and June's book haul together. I really tried, but I bought a lot of books and I got sidetracked, so I'm going to include both, but this is just going to be like a big wrap up. So to start off with, I'm going to start with May's books. So the first book I bought in May was Clockwork Prince and Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. Yes, I know I own 2 copies of these books already. I'm aware. As is everybody else. This isn't my fault because my best friend Lauren actually found these copies and they're the original covers, so I thought, well, I need them for my collection, so I asked her to pick them up for me because they were only 75p and in perfect condition, and I just really needed more gem in my life. I intend to own every single copy. I'm aware that I don't have Clockwork Princess, but don't worry, I will get there. Next up I have Yellow Brick War by Danielle Page. This is the 3rd book in the Dorothy Must Die series. I loved the first 2 books and I was desperate to get this book, but unfortunately here they only released them in hardback first, so I've had to wait over a year to get this. So when I walked into Waterstones and they had this in paperback, I literally ran over and was like, I'm getting this now. So I have it finally. I haven't read it yet because, you know, that TBR that just keeps growing. Yep, that's still going strong. So I have this, and I will get to it at some point, but I have it and it's still beautiful, and I'm really sad that the series is ending because I love it. Then I have A Torch Against the Night by Sabad Tahir. I've already read this book. I'm in love with this book. Again, I mentioned it in my last video. This is one of the best sequels that I've read this year, one of the best books that I've read this year. It was amazing, it made me cry, and thank you to Mariam for basically forcing me to read it and buy it. I don't regret it. It's amazing. It's the 2nd book in the An Ember in the Ashes series, and I am again desperate for the 3rd book. And Sabra, if you're watching this, which I highly doubt you are, please can you not just send it me? Please, I need it. Next up is no surprise to anybody because I've already mentioned this book and this author at least 50 times in every video I might have made, but it is A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J Maas. I love her. I'm not going to talk about this book because I talk about it enough and I talk about her enough, but I love her and this book was amazing and I cried and I threw it across a room. I love it. I love it. Then I have History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera. I've never actually read an Adam Silvera book before, but I've heard so many amazing things about him, and then this was up for £3 on Amazon, so again, I have no self-control, so I naturally got it. And it was amazing. I've already read this and it made me cry again. It's a very crying month for me, but it made me cry. It was beautiful. I love the characters. I love the overwhelming story about it. I love the grief in there and the story of getting better and helping each other. It was so beautiful, and it's a beautiful cover. I love it, and now I want to read more Adam Silvera books, so if you want to recommend a book that I should read next, then just comment below. I'd appreciate it. Second to last for me, I have A Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay. I think I've said that right. It sounds right. I really love horror books, and I don't feel like I read enough of them, even though I do collect a lot of Stephen King's. But I really love horror books, so when I saw this, it sounded extremely interesting. And the fact that it's actually got a recommendation by Stephen King at the top, I felt, well, that's definitely something I need to get because, I mean, it's got Stephen King up there. That's surely a good book. So I decided to pick it up, and I don't really know much about it apart from the blurb, and it sounds really horror-fest. So yeah, I got that because it said Stephen King at the top. And then finally, and possibly the most exciting book I received in May, was Sherlock Holmes, The Hellhound of the Baskervilles by G.S. Denning. I was actually sent this before it was out to the public by G.S. Denning himself, and that is why I actually have a signed and personalised edition, which is the most amazing thing that's ever happened. I will treasure this for the rest of my life. But I was sent this beforehand, and then I read it as soon as it came, naturally. And again, it was amazing. It was just as good as the original, the first Sherlock Holmes book, and it made me laugh, and it was... I really loved it. I've written a review on my blog, which is between the pages 13.wordpress.com. I will leave a review down below for it. And I've also mentioned it in the past 2 videos talking about the best books of this year. What a surprise. I really recommend these books if you want to love Sherlock Holmes and you want a new recommendation about the adaptations around it, and it's just so fun and light-hearted and really accurate to the original stories, so I recommend it. So that was May. That was a lot of books. But that's May over and done with, so now we will just quickly move on to June. So, the first book I actually received in June, I actually won a book from a group chat on Twitter, and they gave me a choice of what book I wanted, and I've already read this book before on the ebook because I got it free from NetGalley, but I chose The Princess Saves Herself in This One by Amanda Lovelace. I follow Amanda on Twitter, and she is one of the most inspiring and lovely people that I think I've ever seen, and her poetry in here is beautiful, and it really struck a chord with me, and I took a lot of pictures of the ebook version of all the different poems that I loved. So when I heard it was being published in print, and also the fact that there was going to be more poems in here, and then I won a competition, this was my first choice because it was so stunning and it just meant so much to me, and now I have a physical copy. I'm going to keep it forever and read it to cheer me up because Amanda has such lovely words, and I can't wait for her next book because I can guarantee it'll make me cry just as much. Then, again, I was lucky enough to receive Letters to Eloise by Emily Williams. Again, I read this. This was actually officially a review copy, but I actually read it on ebook beforehand because Emily herself asked me to. And then she was kind enough to send me a physical copy that, again, signed with a personal little note, which is the most amazing thing that can ever happen. And this book, again, I've mentioned it on the past 2 videos, but this book is probably the most beautiful book I've read this year. It made me cry, it ruined me, I cried on a bus. It was a beautiful sight. But Emily's writing style is absolutely brilliant. She gives so much empathy and feelings, and you become the main character, and it is just heartbreaking everything she has to go through being so young, and I could really feel for her, and it ruined me emotionally, and it's a stunning cover. It's absolutely beautiful. So please read this book. Then again, this is a book that I technically kind of already own. My mum owns these books, but when I saw them release them in the special edition covers, I had to get it. It is Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone by J.K. Rowling in the Hufflepuff cover, because Hufflepuffs are ultimately the best. I'm a Hufflepuff, and this is stunning. Look at it, it looks like a bumblebee. And this book is stunning. I love the illustrations in there, I love the extra bits, I love everything about it, and I'm so glad that I can embrace my Hufflepuff love, because us Hufflepuffs don't get talked about that much. We are a very underrated house. So please comment if you're a Hufflepuff, because I feel like we're just missing out on all these things. Everybody loves Ravenclaw and Gryffindor and Slytherin, but Hufflepuff is where it's at. Then I got American Gods by Neil Gaiman. I have been wanting this book for a while, but I wasn't quite sure whether I'd like it. And then I read the Graveyard Book and Good Omens that obviously are written by Neil Gaiman, and I fell in love with his writing. So when I heard that they were doing an Amazon Prime series of American Gods, and then everybody started to watch it and utterly love it, or be confused by it, or anything, I thought, why not get the book? And then as if by chance, I walked into The Works, which is a bookshop here in the UK, and they had it for £3. Yes, it's the movie, well, yeah, it's the TV tie-in edition, but it was £3. I'm not going to complain. It was £3. So I now have it. It's a huge book. Don't know when I'm going to read it. That TBR's, you know, piling up. But I will get to it, and I hope I will love it because I love Neil Gaiman. Always. Then I have One of Us is Lying by Karen McManus. Again, I mentioned this book in my last video, which I actually mentioned that I was going to go buy it after the video ended. I did. It's here. I went and bought it after the video ended. Self-control. But I'm really excited to read this because I've heard literally nothing but good things about it. This is why I decided to buy it, because everyone on my Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everything is all about this book. So I had to see what everyone else was doing. Also, it has really nice red spray pages. As you know, I'm a sucker for a pretty book, and this fits up there. So I have it. I might read it next, she says. Probably won't. But I'll try. That's all I can do. And then finally, I have Lord of Shadows by Cassandra Clare. Obviously, I got this the week it was out. I am so ashamed to say I have not read this yet. But it isn't actually my fault. I did start to read it. There is a bookmark in here. Like, there. I didn't get very far, but I did start to read it. And it doesn't fit in the book sleeve, the book bow that I have, so I had to just put it loosely in my bag, and then it started raining and it started to go all crinkly and water damage, and I wasn't risking that. So this is definitely a book that I'll be reading in the house because unfortunately it's a bit too big to carry around, and I don't want it to get damaged because, again, I got the blue spray pages to match Lady Midnight, and again it is literally huge to match Lady Midnight, so they're in it together. But I will get around to this soon because I'm pretty sure Mariam again is reading this, and I'm sure she will force me to read it again. Shout out to you, Mariam. But I will get around to it, and I'm very excited. Even though I have heard that the ending is absolutely awful and people have cried, which does put me on edge and makes me kind of not want to read it. But it's Cassandra Clare. I've got to read it. She created a gem. So that is it. That is my book haul for May and June. I will hopefully be on time with my next book haul. I don't know whether I will, but I will try, and that is what counts. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Leave a comment of what you thought of the books that I bought in the last couple of months, whether you've read them, what you thought, and what books you bought, because I'm always up for book recommendations because my TBR can never really be too high, she says while she drowns in books. But anyway, so don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll be back soon with another video. Alright, bye guys!